Hello, everyone. We hope that you're well. I am Raymond Sharp. This is my wife.
Tanesha Sharp.
And we're here to jump in. Today, we're going to talk about something that I think that affects us all. I think in some cases it's a chronic problem. And the topic for today is getting out of the way. Getting out of the way. And one place that we need to get out of the way is with our own selves. We have to become more self-aware of the issues we're causing ourselves. We have to become more self-aware of what we're doing to stop ourselves, to hinder ourselves, and to cause others to look at us and say, this is not the right person for this particular endeavor. We have to become more self-reflective, and because of the society we live in, it's everybody else's fault. Whenever we make bad decisions, we find somebody to blame. Politicians, if you look at the news, it's never their fault. It's always the other side's fault. If you listen to someone who broke up in a relationship, if you really listen to them, you would think that the person that they were with was Satan himself, and they did nothing wrong. We're not big on accountability. We're not big on upholding the standards. We're not even big on living to the things we say are important to us. So today,
accountability is big though. We're definitely not big on that.
We don't know how to be accountable.
No,
it's never our fault.
I'm grown.
I know everything.
Yeah.
We have to get out of our own way. And one of the ways we have to get out of our own way is finding someone who can mentor us that we will allow to check us. I know people who have mentors, but they won't let their mentors check them when they're wrong. Whenever they mentor check them, it's like, oh, they're tripping. So I need to get another mentor. They don't know me. They don't understand my vision. They're too familiar with me. They're talking from another perspective. All these other excuses other than I need to change.
How about your spouse? The spouse can't even check you sometimes.
And they live with you every day.
Yeah, and I'm not saying in a disrespectful way, in a mean way, abusive way. We're not talking about that.
No, not at all.
But there has to be times when your spouse can be honest with you. Like y'all can have a real honest conversation. Yeah. And we try to have those every day.
Every day.
Truly honest, because I need to come up in some areas. He needs to come up in some areas. And it's like, not just to nag on each other, but like, hey, babe, can I be honest with you about something? And then, but that works.
Yeah.
That works only if you are also edifying and showing appreciation. And you're saying more positive and great, more, encouraging things to them more than you're saying negative things too. So you can't just always find, there's definitely got to be a balance. It works when your spouse is kind and loving all the time, which you are, dear. And so when he tries to bring, when he does bring correction or he's honest with me, I can receive it because he loves on me so much that I know it's truly coming from a place of love. So I want to make sure I say that, because I want people like, I've been trying to be honest with you, but it's like everything you say all day long is negative and it's not encouraging and it just beats that person down. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying being able to be honest in love, being kind to your spouse and treating them with total respect. That's what I'm talking about. So let me just clarify that.
Yeah, and I think it's about perspective as well. I think sometimes we make the mistake of not speaking up correctly. And it's not just with the correction. Whenever our spouse do something well, we don't speak up. We just say, oh, that's what they're supposed to do. And just chop it up as something
that's true.
That's okay, that's an expected behavior. But it's even more than you correct your spouse or, bring something to their attention, you got to compliment them even more. So that, what is the goal? The goal is to build them up as much as possible.
Yes.
And it's hard to build somebody up if if I say, well, I'm not going to compliment you at all, but you're going to take this correction when I bring it to you, you're beating them down. So, constructive criticism.
And that's all the other person sees is you beating them down.
Yeah. And it's like surgery. Surgery cuts, but it's also an instrument to heal at the same time. So, we have to be kind of careful in how, we go about handling our spouses carefully, surgically, to make sure that, all right, this cut is going to help you heal. Not, I'm just going to cut you and just watch you bleed.
Absolutely. And the best way to practice that, if that doesn't naturally come to you, anytime you think or you notice anything, I don't care how small it is, just say, oh, babe, I see you do X, Y, and Z. Oh, I see you over there doing this, and just making them feel good about themselves and truly showing appreciation for the little things that they do. Because you never want to be in a relationship with anybody, not even not even a friendship if you're not really appreciated. You just tolerate it. Nobody wants to feel like that. So, having those hard conversations has to be, kind of like laid with the foundation of, love and stuff like that.
Yeah, love, care, concern.
Care and concern.
I would say too, I'm gonna be completely honest. This is something I think I struggle with it because I didn't understand your love language. Once I understood my wife's love language, then I was able to do it better. But because in my mind, the way I was raised, it was, these are the expectations of an adult. I don't have to applaud you for that. That's not nothing spectacular. This is, okay, that's great, good. Versus, there are some people that, some of the things that we expect that are like considered our norms, those, you'll be surprised of how many people struggle with performing those norms or don't actually receive them. Like, one thing that I'm amazed by, I tell my wife I love her every day, but there's some people that don't tell their spouse that they love them in a week or two. It's just like, oh, she know I love her, and that's it. That's all they get, But I want if
you gotta express.
You gotta express, and that's something I feel like I got better with time.
I mean, you're real good, and all throughout the day you're calling, hey, just checking in, just think about you, not wanting anything to, your day going okay, and just connecting with me all throughout the day. So when and you're so kind. I mean, just kindness alone, you know what I'm saying? Just being gentle, kind with a person. Really helps when it comes to, and it's the same even with our kids. You can't be evil and mean all day long to a person, and then you want to, bring correction to that situation. It means a lot, for it to come off a certain way. But yeah.
Yeah, I think, again, we got to get out of our own way. So we got to stop making excuses why we treat people poorly.
Yeah, so accountability.
Accountability.
So accountability to one another.
Yep.
And also accountability to like a mentor.
Correct.
And then what else?
I would say work on your excuses. Whatever excuse you make to say, I can't do this because, well, if you would do this, you can't allow somebody else's behavior keep you from treating them well. That's an excuse. If I don't care how, if I'm thankful it's not the case. If my wife treated me poorly, I would still treat her nice if I was trying to, just show her my love and care and affection. Now, we're not talking about abuse. If you're in an abusive relationship, somebody beating on you, if you are, if it's something that
causes harm.
Like, so there's sometimes every now and then my wife will say something like, man, I kind of hurt my feelings, but she doesn't mean me harm because I know her heart. But at the core of it, if you know that, okay, if I keep on this path, this person may actually hurt me or kill me. And unfortunately in relationships, there's a very high rate of, domestic issues ending in murder. We advocate for you to get out of that situation. We don't do abuse, but if you can't say, if it's a misunderstanding, there are certain times where I feel like my wife said something, she'll, oh no, I didn't mean that. This is what I meant when I said that. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So what I had to learn is, do I know my wife's heart?
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, go ahead, babe.
No. I mean, really. I remember it took us a while to really get to that place. I remember when we first got married. We're going on 16 years now. But when we first were getting to that place, we were kind of like having like disagreements, and I used to question like, honey, do you know my heart? Because it just felt like, in my heart, even though it may have come off the wrong way, or I didn't intentionally, mean to hurt you in that kind of way. If you know my heart, you wouldn't take it so personally. Like you won't take it to such a be so offended by it. Let me say that. And so that was something I remember we going through, and I'm like, and then we had to sit there like, you know what? I know your heart, and that was a big breakthrough for us, because once you truly, truly understand your spouse's heart, no matter what they say, in a sense, it's not going to hurt as bad. And so if you find that it's hurting just so bad, you really don't know their heart.
And I think a part of it for me is like, I'm a direct person. Like, okay, what did you say? If you said this is how I'm gonna take it. Because if I'm gonna communicate, I work hard on being an effective communicator. That, look, you're gonna know exactly, if I say this is what I mean. This is what all the ramifications for it. I'll lay it out. So to me, I'm like, no, you said that. That's what you mean. Because if you didn't mean that, why did you say that?
And then sometimes, because we're so different, as women and men, we process information differently.
Yes.
And also how we were raised. We were raised to believe certain things, and we're coming in with different perspectives, and then we're just merging all that stuff into one, like really trying to understand, and becoming one, and really trying to understand your spouse and their line of thinking. That takes time. That takes patience, and understanding really what they're trying to say. Because sometimes it may be hard to even articulate what you're, or even explain what you're trying to say, or you're even trying to figure out how you feel. Sometimes, I'll just use me an example. I don't know how I'm feeling. Like, I don't know what's going on. But the more I talk, the more we can kind of figure out what's going on. Us women, we're just, sometimes we can, but the thing is, we just want to make sure that we are clearly, just clearly communicating and just really not, the whole point is not getting in each other's way.
Yeah. And again, we have to get out of our own way. I must say another thing we have to do. We have to get out of our children's way.
Yep.
We have to understand, like, one thing,
yeah,
I know the age of my children, but mentally, the way they think is years ahead of their age.
Yeah.
And one thing I picked up kind of like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I told my wife, we're looking at their homework, I'm like, they're not teaching these children information, they're teaching them how to think and reason. And we have to look at that perspective and say, okay, and some of the conversations we have with our children, I'm like, okay, this is not a normal conversation with a whatever year old or this particular grade.
12-year-old.
So when your children come to you with certain things, don't say no because you don't understand. Do everything you can to understand, and then then check what they understand about it as well.
Absolutely.
But don't make big decisions with your children without a full understanding. I remember, I worked in education. I worked with a lot of kids students that was in college. And one of the biggest issues were, like, my parents, they're not even trying to understand this is the direction I want to go in. Don't just tell your children not to go on a particular career path if you don't understand it, because you don't see yourself how it makes money, or you don't see yourself how it can be a benefit for them, or you don't understand why they're even engaged and why they like it. We have to spend more time understanding our children, because a lot of things now, it moves very fast, it's nuanced. There's things that have happened in the last 6 months technologically that I had to go back and say, okay, I don't understand any of this.
Yes.
I had to take a step back and ask my son questions.
Yes.
My 14-year-old son, hey, son, explain this to me.
And it's okay.
And it's okay. He breaks it down. I'm like, okay, now I see why you're interested in that, because of blah, blah, blah. He's like, okay, exactly. It's like, cool. Now, how can I help you with that? Now that I understand, versus saying, that's crazy, that don't make no sense. No, it don't make sense to you. So we have to take time with our children, and taking time with our children will be on nurturing them, is getting in their space, understanding their interests, and then understanding how we can help them in their interests. And my son gets excited when I ask him to explain certain things to me.
Yeah.
He's like, now I get to teach dad something, which I think is cool. So
we cannot reject that either.
No.
Because they are learning so much more.
Yeah.
We've learned so much, even in the last few months, from our 14-year-old.
Yeah.
Because he does a lot of research.
And
it's okay. You can't feel any kind of way. But I will say this: there are times when they may come to you and they may have something that you like we said, that you don't understand. It's okay to say, hey, can we revisit this? Let me look more into this, and then we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
We've done that too. Hey, let mommy and daddy think about it, and then we'll get back with you. Meantime, we
studying.
We studying, trying to understand what in the world. Like, this is so many things are going on, and things are happening so fast. And when you have a child or children that are always trying to stay ahead, or they want to stay relevant as far as their career. Like, that's what his thing is. He wants to stay relevant in his career path, and it just, some things you have to step back and just maybe even find someone who's in that industry and say, hey, how's things going in this industry? Help, let me understand more about what you do. And it's a reason why your child is drawn to that particular path, and you want to be able to understand why they're choosing that, what's really in their heart.
Yeah. And don't be so quick to say something is not valuable. I remember the days where parents were like,
the video games.
Oh yeah. That's my favorite example. Like, oh, you can't make no money with these video games now.
Ooh.
There's esport teams at colleges. I saw that.
Yeah,
one of the local
you can go to school for it
universities.
now.
They just did a competition.
Yeah.
Somebody won $3,000. Somebody else won $5,000, and that money belongs to those kids. So there's ways. Don't be so quick just because you don't understand to say that's not going to work, or I don't see why you spend all your time. Don't devalue what's valuable to them just because you don't have an understanding.
And sometimes you have to allow them to discover that for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes hard to watch as a parent.
Yeah.
But you have to allow them to, and you're there to guide them. So the goal is that they quickly find out, this may not be good for them, but then they won't be blaming you.
Yeah.
They're like, and you don't know what they're going to learn from that. We had to learn from certain mistakes. So allowing them to learn, but just not trying to, I think sometimes we try to save them from everything.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want them to fail. We don't want them to mess up. And it's like, as long as you're there for support, and you're constantly being someone that they can come to for advice, or, I like the fact that they come to us, with their thoughts and their concerns. And that's what you don't want to stop.
Yes.
You don't want to get in that way. You're so much in the way that they just shut down completely, and you have no clue what's going on in their minds. You want to know. You want to know what their thoughts are, what their passions are. And not only that, you can say, well, I know you want to do X, Y, and Z, but have you ever thought about this? Because that's similar to that, and just kind of help them come up with their path and stuff like that. We're supposed to help guide them and kind of shoot them in a certain direction, and then
no, that's
you
true.
know what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to be there to guide and help them through it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this, and this is something personal. I remember when I was in college, I majored in English. I remember telling someone I'm gonna major in English. I switched my majors a few times. And I remember, I don't know if y'all remember this book that we used to get when I was in high school. We got it from the guidance counselor. It had like all the different careers and what the careers made. And I made the mistake of saying, okay, how much money do I want to make when I graduate from college? Oh, that's good. That's what I'm gonna major in. And when I got to school, I'm like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. But I love my English professors. They was awesome. I'm like, man, I think this is what I want to do. I told somebody, like, man, as a man, why would you major in English? You're not going to be able to take care of your family. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to do that. And I remember having to fight through all that. Like, man, I love this, but I can't do nothing with it. Or so I was told. And now, thankfully, that degree in English, I sit and read contracts all day long.
All day long.
I do research all day long. So it transferred. It definitely transferred.
Not in the way people can understand. And you just don't know what it's going to lead to. Like,
exactly.
And that's what I say. You let them go and explore. As long as you kind of there to guide them, you don't know it's going to, over time, they're going to mature, they're going to grow, and they're going to go in and out of certain things. And you just let them grow and mature. They'll appreciate you for it. The fact that you were at least there for them when they needed you.
Yeah.
And that means more than anything. So you definitely want to be there. You don't want to push them away. You don't want to stand in the way. And I mean, it's so many ways you can stand in the way. Yeah. I mean, just even in relationships. I mean, just.
Oh, I was just thinking.
But that we could do another video on that one. That's a whole nother.
Yeah.
We'll be there. This video's already long.
Take a step back.
Just.
And don't really, let's be honest with ourselves. What do we need to work on? And even with our kids, what are we preventing them from doing because we don't understand, or we don't want to make time to really invest in what they're doing. So let's be careful with that, my folks.
Yes.
Y'all take care. Again, thank you so much for joining us for this session of Jump In. I am Raymond and Sharp. This is my wife,
Tanesha Sharp.
And once again, we want you to what?
Jump in.
Y'all take care.
In.
See you next time.
Bye.